back to Johnny Reads. Today I'm going to talk to you about the second book that I read from my 2016 reading challenge that I'm hosting. So if you don't know anything about that, go ahead and watch my second video. I have the entire list on there, and I also have the list in the description of this video. And today the topic that I'm going to be taking care of with the book that I read is a book written by James Patterson. And I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him. So what I'll do is I'll tell you about the book, tell you what I thought of it, and then maybe have some thoughts on him in general. So the book that I read for this was the Thomas Berryman Number by James Patterson, of course. And let me just tell you, this was the first book that he ever wrote, and he won the Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers of America for the best first novel by an American writer. Think about that. James Patterson winning a literary award. Anyway, first thing, the book follows a writer who's writing a book about the assassination of a mayor in Tennessee. And basically what it is it's kind of a JFK thing where you have one guy who's got the blame for it and got sentenced to it, sent to prison and all that stuff. And there are rumors going around that it wasn't really him and he's kind of being set up or framed or something like that. And the writer is traveling back and forth between his home state and Tennessee and all these places, trying to figure out what's going on. And that is all I'm going to tell you, because I really don't want to spoil it for you, because this book was not a bad book. I know people have so many things about James Patterson to say, but really it wasn't bad. I mean, I read crime fiction all the time, and this is probably about middle of the pack, just a regular good book. Not like, oh my god, it's a train wreck, but also not like something I'm going to, in 20 years, I'm going to be, you know what? That was a phenomenal book. No. It's just, middle of the pack. Not bad, not good, not great, I mean. And so, but let me just tell you though, besides that, the issues that I had with it. First, there's no chapters. Not my favorite thing. I've read other books like that. Read one last year that had no chapters. Didn't really like it then. Still don't like it now. But the book is written by a writer, and he's not writing in chronological order. Something else I didn't like about it. You have entries from November, and then July, and October, and didn't really like that, because if you're not really paying attention, you could definitely get lost in the story and be like, wait, who am I reading about? Which character is this? So I didn't really like that. I'm using the word lighted over and over again. Like someone lighted a cigarette. Hated that. I don't think I've ever seen that word used in a book before, and it was used at least a dozen times, maybe more. And there were also numerous sentences, probably more than a dozen as well, that clearly needed a comma so you can take a break while you're in the process of reading the sentence, and it just never had it. And I mean, yeah, this book is about 40 years old, but it's not that old. It wasn't written in the 1800s where maybe the language is a little bit different. Didn't like that. But besides that, thought it was a good book. Nothing great. I rank all the books that I read, if you don't know, and this was the 42nd best book that I've read, so just regular, middle of the pack. The list has 125, 130 books on there, because it's in the last 5 years. But the one thing that I will say, this book was written in the 70s, right? And Amazon obviously came way after that. This book is rated 2.8 or 2.5 on Amazon. And what that tells me is, these people who are rating this book are rating it based on what they think of James Patterson and what he's doing now. That's ridiculous. This is not, is it, a literary masterpiece? No, not at all. But 2.5, that's for books that are complete trash, and this isn't. And I think it's a little ridiculous how people are judging his earlier work that have nothing to do with what he's doing now. This was long before he was famous, before he was making millions of dollars, before all that stuff, and they're just giving it these horrible ratings based on that. Because that's outrageous to me. That's stupid. Think about it. If this was them and their book, they wouldn't want people to do that, but they're doing it to him. Anyway, before I go on a super long rant about that, the one thing I want to know is, have you read any books by James Patterson? And tell me what you thought of them. The next book that I'm going to be reading for my challenge is going to be a young adult book, and it will be Paper Towns by John Green. So tell me in the comments if you've read James Patterson. See you next time.